So earlier this morning, the Green Bay Packers 2023 schedule was leaked by Matt Schneidman of The Athletic. All NFL schedules are supposed to come out tonight, I think at 7 p.m. or so, but many of them have already been leaked. So I want to go through and take a look at this entire schedule, give my takeaways about it, different matchups that are interesting, a few different takeaways as well. I also will be out with a Packers Q&A newsletter tomorrow, and so if you want to see that, you can click the link in the description down below, enter your email, and you will receive that tomorrow, probably at some point, maybe noon or around that time. And if you would like to ask a question for that, you can comment on this video if you'd like. You can say like Packers Q&A, then put your question, and I'll get some of those questions in there as well. So starting off, if we take a look at this entire schedule, as you can see here, maybe some of you guys have already seen this because it's been floating around the internet for a while today. But first off, week 1, we have the first matchup, the first time Jordan Love, takes over for 2023, comes in, plays against the Chicago Bears in Chicago, Sunday, September 10th, versus Justin Fields at 3:25 p.m. And I think when we look at this matchup, it's very interesting in many different ways, partly because the Bears have a young QB in Justin Fields. I don't think he's a proven commodity yet. Jordan Love hasn't proven anything yet as well, and so it's going to be interesting to see how this matchup goes. Will it be close? Will it be a blowout on either side? We'll have to wait and see. But I think that for other NFC North fans who are not Packers fans, the hope is, of course, that our time of having great quarterback play is behind us. The hope is that the streak from Brett Favre to Rodgers is going to end here with Jordan Love. Hopefully that does not happen. So hopefully week 1, we will come in there, beat the Chicago Bears, and Jordan Love plays at an elite level, and then we'll be feeling pretty good about our future, and the Bears may not. Obviously, it's just one game, but it's fun to start the season off with a rivalry and 2 young quarterbacks. And then if we look through the rest of the schedule, we have the at Falcons the next week, which they're not an amazing team. So that's a winnable game, I'd say. Week 3 at the Saints, or no, that's at home. So the first home game for Jordan Love is September 24th at noon versus the Saints. I guess the Saints have Derek Carr now. So that is I'd say that's a winnable matchup. Obviously, it depends on how Jordan Love plays, and it's going to be very exciting to finally see him play. I can't wait, honestly. And then we have our second home game. We have versus the Lions on Thursday Night Football, 7:15 p.m. That should be interesting. The Lions, I think, have taken huge steps forward these past couple seasons. The Packers, we'll see what Love has here. And then we have an interesting game, Week 5 at the Raiders, because we will be facing off against Davante Adams for the first time, which will be interesting. Hopefully, Joe Barry allows Jair to shadow Davante the entire game. That would be a very great matchup to watch. That would be exciting. So that's 5 weeks in. Then we have our bye. So if we get to week 6, if we get to our bye and we're sitting at 3-2, I'll be feeling really great. If we're 4-1, I'll be feeling insane. I think we'd all be very happy with that. If we're 2-3, I'll be like, okay, it's fine. 2-3, we're still sort of in the mix. 1-4, it's like, this stinks, and 0-5 is obviously like, this is not going according to plan at all. But hopefully we are somewhat alive at that point. And then we come in and we face off against the Broncos. Hopefully the Broncos stink like they did last year. I do think they'll be better with Sean Payton. But that's at Broncos versus Vikings at home at noon, October 29th. Versus Rams at home the next week. Then at Steelers. Then versus Chargers. Then another game against the Lions. Thanksgiving. So one thing interesting. So that Thanksgiving game, 11:30 a.m. So the first game at Detroit. But we have a Thanksgiving game. We have a Christmas Eve game if you go down farther in the schedule at the Panthers on noon on Christmas Eve Day. And then we also have a New Year's Eve game on December 31st at the Vikings at 7:20 p.m. So Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. So lots of exciting matchups there and on pretty big days. Another thing, too, to just a total look at the schedule. We have 8 noon games, and then we have 5 primetime games. You can add another one if you count the early Thanksgiving Day game. And I'd say that's a pretty big amount for a team that has lost their Hall of Fame or future Hall of Fame quarterback. And I think it's because the Packers are going to be a very interesting story this year just because of the uncertainty with Jordan Love. We don't know how good he's going to be. I think he has lots of potential. I see no reason why he can't be a very, very great quarterback. Learning from Aaron Rodgers, being under Matt LaFleur, the same scheme for 3 seasons now. And I think he has tons of athleticism, tons of talent. The question is, will it all come together? So I think all of the NFL will be wondering what the Packers are going to be for years and years. And so I think that the NFL sees that this is a team that's still pretty interesting. And as some other people have noted on Reddit and things, if later in the season the Packers are absolutely terrible, which hopefully that is not the case, I don't think we'll be absolutely terrible. Hopefully we won't, because that would be very sad. And I think all of you guys would agree. But they could flex some of these, primetime games, night games later in the season to earlier in the day if we stink, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So now let's continue with the schedule. Those are a few random notes. But then we have versus the Chiefs at home Sunday Night Football, December 3rd. So if we're at December 3rd, and let's say let's say we're not terrible. Let's say we're middle of the road, like we're still alive when it comes to the playoffs. If Jordan Love can beat Patrick Mahomes at home on December 3rd, that's going to be a sign of amazing things to come. Obviously, it's going to be tough to beat a Chiefs team who was the best in the league last year, winning the Super Bowl. But overall, that'll be a very interesting game to sort of see how good the Packers really are. And obviously, we'll sort of have an idea for those first 12 weeks. Hopefully, we're very maybe not surprised, but happy with exactly what this team has done up to that point. But that will be a very interesting game regardless. And that should be a good matchup, Jordan Love versus Mahomes. We saw that, 2 years ago when Love had to fill in for Rodgers. Things didn't go great. But in that game, Patrick Mahomes didn't play great either. So I think that Love will be much better this time versus the Chiefs than he was last time. So that should be a fun one. Then we have at Giants, Monday Night Football versus Buccaneers, December 17th, noon. Already mentioned at Panthers on Christmas Eve day. Then at Vikings on New Year's Eve. And then finally versus the Bears. So we basically start with the Bears week 1. We end with the Bears week 18. And who knows, maybe that game we'll have something to play for. Maybe we'll already, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen by that point of the season? I have no clue what's going to happen by that point. But I think overall it's a pretty exciting schedule. I honestly, regardless of what the schedule was, this year is going to be very interesting and exciting just because of Jordan Love, and we just don't know how good he is, and we're finally going to see. And we have how many months till the season starts? June, July, August. 3.5, 4 months. So we're getting closer and closer to the season starting. We finished the draft, and we're sort of going to slowly go through these summer months, and then things will rev up for training camp, and it should be exciting. We'll be in the season in no time. But those are my biggest takeaways from this schedule. I posted another newsletter this morning on Jordan Love and some things about that. If you want to read that, you can click the link down below, as I said, and I'll be out with the Packers email newsletter Q&A tomorrow as well. So feel free to sign up for the newsletter in the description if you haven't already. And as I said, ask some questions. If you have a question for the newsletter, just drop it in the comment section here on this video, and I'll answer probably some of those if I see them. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let me know as well your thoughts on this schedule. But overall, I like it. I think it'll be fun, exciting year. That's all I have for this one, and I will see you guys next time.